What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Now, coming up on today's show, Matas Buzelis was talking about his development and everything he's been working on this offseason, so we get you guys that info there. And then also, I do want to give some more thoughts on the Josh Giddey contract extension talk. Kenny, big-time YouTuber, he had a video yesterday talking about some teams that are stuck in purgatory, and he had some great insight on Josh Giddey, and I do agree with them, so I'll give you guys my thoughts there as well. But before we dive into it, if you guys could hit that subscribe button today. We're closing in here on 13,000 subs here on YouTube. We just need 149 more of you guys to hit that sub button. So we'll post a video around your Chicago Bulls almost every single day here. So hit that subscribe button today and don't miss a thing. All right, let's talk about my favorite player in the NBA, my favorite player on the Chicago Bulls, Chicago's very own Matas Buzelis. He was talking about his development, and he seems like a very self-aware basketball player. He knows what he needs to get done this offseason, and this is what he said. Saying he talked to Billy Donovan a little bit. He's been telling me more pick and rolls. Try to work on off-the-dribble threes, stuff like that. So I've always been comfortable with the ball in my hands. I've never stressed about having the ball in my hands, and I've never panicked when I have the ball in my hands. It's second nature to me, being a primary ball handler, just something that's going to come with time as I work on it, getting more reps. And if you guys remember when Matas was in the G League, he was a primary creator for his team. And I think there's untapped potential for him as a creator. Now, I could see him working out of that like LeBron area in the low block. He's 6'10". He'll probably need to add more weight on his frame if he really wants to excel at that role. But if he can just start winning those one-on-one matchups at a high level, double teams will naturally start to come, and he can just spray out the open shooters. And, when I think about Buzelis, we talked about his ceiling a whole lot here on the channel. Like, can he be a third best option on a championship team, second best, or even a number one option on a team? I have no idea how high his ceiling is because he showed some unreal flashes in the summer league. His body's starting to fill out already. We're starting to see that handle improve, and I love the form on his jump shot. I think that's just going to be a repetition thing. He's got the same pocket and release point on every single shot. It's a very consistent jumper. So I really don't know how high his ceiling is, but Buzelis also talked about some of his goals this season and specifically this offseason, saying getting stronger is definitely one of my goals. Getting stronger, just working on my three ball. I like to work on my overall game, honestly. I feel like I could do everything on the court, so I don't limit myself. It's going to be exciting how I put everything together. And, I agree with Buzelis. It's going to be awesome to see when you finally put it all together. But, guys, remember this guy. He was super thin heading into last season. He's already filling out that frame. I mean, this picture he posted, like, the arms are looking big. And even at Summer League, I felt like his legs looked a lot bigger. And I think that's huge, especially for wings in the NBA. Like, if you're driving to the lane, you can just give a bump, go over the top, and I just think adding more weight, that's going to be a huge point of Buzelis. But, he's kind of got this capital T build on his frame, so putting on weight, never really thought that was going to be an issue for him. But I also thought this was pretty cool. Casey Johnson, lead Bulls insider, said he is becoming the face of the franchise. And I was making that argument after the NBA draft because it wasn't Josh Giddey. It wasn't Nikola Vucevic. It was Matas Buzelis walking the rookies around the Bulls organization. So clearly, Buzelis wants to be the face. The Bulls organization and that front office want him to be the face of the franchise as well. But when it comes to Buzelis and how he can just continuously develop, because you can put all that work in the offseason. You can work on that three-point jumper. You can do all that. But he needs to be the primary creator. Or else this could be another Patrick Williams situation where, Patrick Williams, obviously we're all very, very upset with how he's turned out in the NBA. But, half of it is his own doing. But also the other half of it is the Bulls just had him stand in the corner. He was never a focal point of this offense. And how do you expect a guy to develop when he had DeRozan, Levine, Vooch just going iso ball, and he's just sitting there in the corner waiting for a shot? Hopefully that's not the case with Matas Buzelis. I think he'll be all right. And again, it just comes down to developing. It comes down to just working on his game and getting more touches in the flow of the offense. But I want to ask you guys this. Cubs-Red Sox, massive series this weekend. I actually have producer Jack Loneray. I see him in the producer cam right now rocking a Red Sox hat. So I kind of wanted to stick it to him on this one. Who you guys got this weekend? Give me a CHI for the Cubs or give me a BOS for the Red Sox. Loneray, you got any thoughts?
I cannot wait for the Boston Red Sox to sweep the ever-living crap out of the Chicago Cubs. Get ready to learn Garrett Crochet, buddy.
Yeah, well, Pete Crow Armstrong's going to have something to say about that. But I can't wait for this game. I'm actually going tomorrow, Friday, Wrigley Field, 1 o'clock. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But, hey, who you guys got in this showdown in the MLB? Cubs or the Red Sox? All right, so I just want to get you guys my more thoughts on Josh Giddey here because this process is still going on and we really haven't gotten any updates. And all reports are suggesting that they will get a deal done. Now we actually had conflicting reports today. We talked about it yesterday on the show that Josh Giddey met with Billy Donovan in Las Vegas. They had a lunch together, but then Jake Fisher came out today and said Josh Giddey wasn't in Vegas at all. So some conflicting reports there, but when it comes to how much the Bulls should pay Josh Giddey, I'm sure his camp is just showing him the post All-Star break stats. But this guy almost averaged a 20-point triple-double. We saw that three-point shot develop, and I actually do think Giddey, what would be a 45% three-point shooter, consistently throughout a whole season? Absolutely not. But I do think he could be around a 36, best case scenario, a 38, 39% three-point shooter, which would be key. But, especially post All-Star break, when the Bulls traded Zach LaVine, Io was hurt, Trey Jones got hurt. Giddey was the focal point. He was the primary creator. So that's why those stats, I don't want to call them inflated, but, his usage rate was at an all-time career high. Now, my biggest concern with Giddey, and this is what Kenny was getting at on his show yesterday, saying, he needs the ball in his hands a lot to be an impactful player. Like, Giddey's not a guy that can play off ball at a high level whatsoever. If you want to get the most out of him, he needs to be that primary creator. He needs to be the focal point of the offense. But also, with all that being said, it's not like Giddey is a good off-the-dribble shooter. Like, here are his numbers off the dribble this past season. They were terrible. And especially the concerning part here is the pull-up midi field goal percentage, only at 24%. If you're going to be a guy that's running a whole lot of high pick and rolls, you at least have to get a floater or you have to get a pull-up midi jumper, and you got to hit that at a high level. Like Darius Garland this past season, he hit his floater at 60% rate, and that's why we really saw him, take that leap. But if he struggles off the dribble, and yes, all the positives he has of being a primary creator, he gets his teammates good looks. We know all that, but also I got concerns about Giddey playing off the ball, and specifically late in games, because if the Bulls, if you do have championship aspirations, at least us fans do, maybe the front office doesn't, late in the game, are you going to be running Josh Giddey ISOs being like, hey, you go get a bucket? He's not a good shooter off the dribble. And then also, you're just going to have him stand in the corner, be a floor spacer. Well, he can't really space the floor because he can't really shoot too well. I just don't really know what his role would be if he's not like the primary creator, the focal point of the offense. And listen, there's a reason OKC traded him. Obviously they wanted Alex Caruso, get that, another point of attack, elite defender next to Lou Dort. It was huge for them in the playoff run. But I think OKC realized, like, even though Giddey might put up better numbers than Alex Caruso, I mean, we just showed him. He was averaging a 20-point triple-double post All-Star break, and Caruso is just a 9, 10-point-a-game guy. But Caruso's impact on winning is so much higher than Josh Giddey. And Caruso, he just signed his 4-year, $88 million deal. If I'm the Bulls, I'm giving Josh Giddey that exact same contract. I would be very concerned if they gave him $30 million per year because, even if he goes out there and he averages 19, 8, and 8 next season, is that worth $30 million? Considering he is a negative defender, I don't know. But you guys make the call for me. How much per year would you give Josh Giddey? You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm floating at that, 23, 25, max $27 million range. Again, the Bulls are bidding against themselves here. So you guys let me know, how much per year would you give Josh Giddey? And also make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. We're closing in here on 13,000 subs here on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button today. We'll see y'all next time. Go Bulls.